This is real, and this is a little bit heartbreaking potentially, but this lady on the screen, because interest rates have gone up, has been priced out from getting a loan. We're going to talk about that and the solutions for that with Zanthany shortly. Stay tuned.
Well, good morning.
Okay. How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. How are you? How is everyone?
Good. 117.4 kilos this morning.
You know what? I think it would have been about 2 months ago we spoke about this, and I feel like that's slightly more than it was 2 months ago.
That's almost 120 kilos I weigh.
You know, it's winter weight. That's what I'm putting it down to. You need something to protect your organs against this really cold weather that's outside.
I'm constantly enforcing discipline in my office. 40 people, not doing this, you need to do that, need to be consistent. And I can't even do that myself with weight.
Oh, well, it's a bit hard to follow all of your own rules from time to time, right?
It's embarrassing. Anyway, wish me luck on the journey. I'm going down. I'm going sub 110.
Oof, okay.
Can't get into my
Here, right
suits.
now, everyone, marks on the journey to go down.
Help me,
Leveling
everyone.
down.
Help me.
Power down.
Help me.
All right, we'll do a weekly
Now,
weigh-in.
Zanthony, we're going to do it. So, Zanth, this has been a bit of highs and lows. So we, Zanth and I sat down, and I'm surprised and proud that you're happy for me to talk about this openly.
Yeah,
Not that I've asked your
absolutely.
permission, but we sat down and went, you know what, going to get you into something, going to get you into first home buyer, got you opposite a broker, worked out a solution, worked out how much you could borrow. How much was it that you could borrow?
I could borrow up to $650, and this would have been probably about 2 months ago. It took me quite some time to get all of my documentation together, and 2 months ago the interest rates weren't as bad as they are now, and it was quite feasible to purchase a 1-bedroom apartment in DY or Narrabeen, Manly Vale for $650 or under.
Now, since then, there's been 2 rate rises, and you've been sort of getting your paperwork finalised, organising sort of a bit of help deposit-wise, and then since then, the rates have changed. So how's that changed for you now with getting the loan, the same loan, a smaller loan, a bigger loan?
Well, realistically, I wouldn't be able to get the same loan as I previously needed to purchase a 1-bedroom unit. Prices have gone up. Meanwhile, my borrowing power has gone down. So let's say effectively I do get the loan approval for $650,000. That would leave me with about $100 a week remaining just to live on, which, when you factor in all of your bills and living expenses, just is not feasible. It's not possible for someone like me or anyone really. So 650 is definitely out. When I crunch the numbers with the broker, realistically, to have some kind of life and afford a quality of life, I'd be looking at more at $550,000 to $520,000 is what I could now get in today's market, and that's my borrowing power. There's not really much I can afford to live in around the Northern Beaches for $500,000 to $520,000. Unfortunately, it's sad, but it's true. I have been priced out. What I can do is I can continue to save and wait until I get a bigger deposit. I can find more money. I can earn more money, or I can buy in with somebody to get 2 names on that title.
So this is exactly the case of a lot of people out there as first home buyers. It's a dawning of a new era for people that were possibly could buy and now are actually definitely out of buying something. So it's quite sobering. What are the other options, I guess, I guess the other option is you wait, you continue to rent, but even the rents are going up, Xanth.
Yeah, that's very true. So we did crunch those numbers as well. And look, effectively, I would like to find something to live in. And if I was to get an investment property, I'd still be having to put money out of my own pocket every week as well. So it's kind of, I'd be in the same situation. I'm renting at the moment, so I'd be paying my own rent on top of everything else that my mortgage and that this unit would require. Any other expenses there?
So and this is what gets me. You are a clever person, earn great money. You're good with your money. You're doing all of the right things. You would be, I would say, ahead of 90% of Australian first home buyers by way of, real positive mind. Got plenty of support behind you. Great, good job, good pay. Like, this is hard. This is hard for a first home
It's
buyer.
actually really heartbreaking. I've done everything right my whole entire life. I'm not a huge party animal. I don't have these really large overhead expenses or anything like that. And to just be told, well, you're better off waiting or buying in with somebody, your chances of buying right now aren't great. You can't afford anything in the area where you live. It's heartbreaking. And I'm sure that so many other people are feeling this brunt of the interest rate rises and are in a very similar situation as well. So I can completely empathize with them. I know firsthand exactly what it's like.
100%. So, Xanth, I think you mentioned a couple of things of what you could do. You could go Harvey's.
Yes. So if I was to purchase in with somebody, be it a partner or a partner that I'm living with, or a silent partner that just wants to be on the title and nothing else with me, I could definitely get 2 people on the title. That would help increase the deposit amount, which would therefore decrease how much I need to borrow.
So we could marry you off on the morning minutes potentially to any guys out there that are single and ready to mingle.
Yeah, if anybody's wanting to purchase a property with Zanthany and you're happy to go down on a title with me, I can be fun. Yeah. The marry off Zanthany morning minutes.
Yep. So that's an option, and I do have to say something's better than nothing. You don't have to go the whole hog. To go in half of that is good, is positive. Yeah. What are the other options now that you've been priced out? If you've just tuned in, we're talking about being priced out with interest rates as first-home buyers to buy something. Happened to Zanthany, happening to a lot of people out there at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's the option going Harvey's. Is there the option of buying in another part of Sydney?
Well, I kind of toyed around with this in my mind. I've never really thought about living out of Sydney. It's not something that I'm born and raised in the Northern Beaches, and I would love to buy something in the area that I've grown up in. And after speaking with people like yourself and my parents, it's now something that I might have to consider, be it Western Sydney or up in the Central Coast, or even somewhere like Queensland, Brisbane, which is much cheaper and slightly more affordable than the Northern Beaches.
So then looking at other options like that, pretty cool, still pretty cool, and I guess that means you don't have to go Harvey's as well. Could you buy something in these areas and technically live in it for 3 to 6 months, and then have it as an investment the rest of its life?
Well, if I can find something around that mark, banks don't look very kindly towards studio apartments. And if it is around this area, a studio apartment is realistically all that I would be able to find. So it could be hard to get that financing over the line if I am purchasing a studio in this area, but certainly I would be able, if I can afford to find something, to live in it for a few months and then rent it out for sure.
Okay, guys, I think this is where this morning a big thing is awareness. For people that have taken the opportunity, enjoyed the opportunity of a first home 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, you're living in it now, it's gone up. I think this is the time where you get around your friends, your family and your kids, and you try to sort of give them an olive branch to step them into the marketplace. And I guess there is still always that opportunity where you could have someone like your mum and dad buying half of the property with you or some of the property with you, and then where they can have an investment, you can have the property but potentially buy their half out, 3, 5, 7 years later. There is another option.
Yeah. There are certainly options there. And look, my parents aren't in a financial state to give me more money for a deposit. That's certainly not something that they're able to do. However, as they do own their property, they were willing to go guarantor on my loan for me. So that was a huge help in my situation, single income, nobody else really helping me. So that was something that got me across the line to even be able to talk about this where we are right now.
Yep. So that's a nice segue for people that are hitting walls with getting deposits together. They could, potentially the oldies can help out a little bit. But Zanthany, that's a show. Thank you for sharing that with us, guys. This is a huge reality for first home buyers. It is why the government is working so hard to try to incentivise and provide solutions for first home buyers, because we've gone through some framework this morning. You can see someone who's on a really good salary it's not easy. And just to give you some framework around that, about 60,000 when you talk to a mortgage broker these days is a no-go for buying a property. About 80,000 you started to look at options. At about 100, 120, you start to get that availability as a first home buyer to get into the market if you've got the deposit. But once you're sort of 120 to 150, then your options are opening up even more. 150, 200, you can pretty much just point and shoot under $1 million, just over $1 million. But there is the constraint of the deposit on that as well. You want to have a fairly good deposit. Yeah. Or sometimes there's first home buyer incentives that'll provide for it. But that's a shit ton of money for people to be earning as first home buyers, and it's when you consider that those wages marrying up to the serviceability of what you need for a loan, struggle's real.
It really is real. And look, I'm in my 30s, and in hindsight, I probably would have 10, 20 years ago been a little bit more strict with my money and not being so frivolous and spending. This is a huge reality check to me now, and to anybody else that is maybe 10 or 20 years younger than me. Look, if the struggle is real, it's hard. Just be a little bit smarter with how you spend your money.
Great advice.
If you are remotely interested in getting in the real estate market.
Great advice. Chip away at it early while you're young by way of your deposit. And that's going to make it a bit easier as you go to purchase. So treat yourself a little bit more seriously in your 18, 20, 22s and 24s by way of buying a property, even if you haven't bought the property, having just some savings and funds to go towards it.
Yeah, big time. And I mean, I wasn't in a situation to stay at my parents' place for very long, but if you are and you can stay with mum and dad rent free, ride that wave as long as you can.
Awesome advice. Zanthany, thank you very much for sharing. I know it's a personal thing you've shared, and thanks.
It's okay, not a problem at all. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Well, I think Dave Goodso said you can always live with him in Lambie Heights.
Oh, all
Nice,
right. If there's a spare room there, consider me in.
See ya. Take care. Bye.